Ladies and gentlemen, welcome tonight to another edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. And on the channel today, we will be racing at the Phoenix International Raceway for the running of the Chevy Silverado 150 for the NASCAR Truck Series on this custom schedule season. Just 8 races to go and a 5-point lead for our driver Ricky Craven in the standings. And in tonight's race, we will be starting from the 7th place position with Ricky Craven. And our championship counterpart, Chase Montgomery, will be on the pole, so looking to get 5 bonus points to tie the season standings up in the opening laps of the race. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are new, as well as we get into tonight's full race live stream, realistic commentary coverage on the video game side of things. But after not too much longer of a wait, we will be doing live commentary streams for the actual races on the NASCAR race weekend once again with the Busch Light Clash in just 3 more weeks from this Sunday. Can't wait for it. It's going to be a fun one. Be sure to tune in for those streams because those are going to be can't miss. And hopefully tonight's race will be can't miss as well because this is going to be, I think, a decent race to say the least. This is a very difficult racetrack to pass on. Track position is going to mean a lot, so not qualifying on the pole kind of hurts a little bit. It was a little tight in qualifying, so we'll see how this is. We'll see how this is going to go. For this one. Mark DeMars, Jackson Thomas, Billy Carjoy, and others, welcome into the stream. Let's get the race underway. Green flag is in the air. We're underway and under the lights at Phoenix. Craven got squeezed in the first turn by the truck on his outside. He's going to lose a couple positions here. That's not a great start. And now he's going to be on the outside lane trying to fight for the bottom. By the time he gets into turn 3, finds a hole, goes for it, and gets the truck back down on the inside lane. 4 spots lost on the opening lap, and the pole sitter Montgomery will lead the opening lap of the race, coming in second in points. Massive start for Montgomery. That's a big lap led there. I did loosen the truck up a little bit from where I was in qualifying, so I think it'll be a little better in the race. I just got crowded in that first turn and it cost me right away. Right into the inside of the 110. He's making some passes. The hardest truck to pass is going to be the one with the clean air today. We don't see a lot of passes for position during green flag runs at Phoenix in this game, so we'll see how this race will go. Craven scraped the inside wall going into turn 1, the pit wall. Down to the bottom of the track, that's how much he overdrove the corner trying to make the pass on the 110. He'll complete it now in turns 3 and 4 for the 8th place position through the first 3 laps. Montgomery will lead the first 3 as well. Keep overdriving the corners. Gotta get better at that. Been about a week since we ran the truck series on NASCAR 06. In fact, I think it was either last Friday or Saturday night. You can see the rust in the early going. There's no practice for this race. Just hopped right into qualifying and didn't have the greatest setup. Craven's still down 1 spot from the very start. Make a big dive going into turn 3, but he definitely got body slammed going into the corner. Craven got really loose after the contact. Got to hang on to these tires. It's just going to be a one-stop race likely. I'd like to think you're going to be able to make it quite a ways on fuel as well. You don't want a short pit on a short track at all costs. Yeah, it's a tight battle for 3rd, too. 3rd through 5th is very, very tight in the points. Craven again, looking low, underneath. Not going to get body slammed into turn 1, though. And the pass is made for 7th. Montgomery has about a truck length and a half, maybe 2 truck lengths over Bobby Hamilton in 2nd. Lester going to make a pass on Kevin Harvick into turns 3 and 4, and that will leave the bottom open for Craven to fill the hole. And he gets to the inside of the 92 on the front straightaway, and he'll clear him into turn 1 with ease. It's like one fantasy driver in the top 6 right now, and that would be the 4th place driver in the 178 truck. Ron Hornaday sits in third. Lester right behind him in fifth. Harvick with a big bounce off the curb. Got a bit sideways. Hornaday now going to lose third place to the 178. Fourth to Lester. And Craven going to try to get to the inside of the 6 as well, but he gets really tight in the middle of the corner. Had to lift a little bit off the exit of turn 4 to try to keep it off the wall. Truck still side by side in front of him, so Craven might have a second shot at Hornaday. Gets to the inside of him off turn 2. Side drafts him a little bit on the back stretch, heading into the dog leg. Lester now to the inside for third place with the 178. And here comes Ricky Craven in the bottom. He's going to take it 3 wide for third place. 3 wide for third, and off the exit of turn 4, there's contact. All 3 trucks get together out of the rear view of Craven. And they're still making contact into turn 1. Hornaday got to the inside behind the 99, so they were still 3 wide by the exit of the corner, even though Craven had cleared the 2 trucks he had passed there. What a move by Ricky Craven. Hornaday will get back to 4th. It just took him an extra lap to actually clear those guys. And we stay green, and now we have a battle for second between Bobby Hamilton and Ricky Craven. Lap 11. Craven to the inside of the 0-4, getting crowded quite a bit. Contact made. Craven not taking any. And he's up to second. Hornaday charges hard after Hamilton for third in turns 3 and 4 as Hamilton did not get into the corner very well and had to run that middle to upper lane all the way through. Craven is already 0.7 of a second off the lead from Chase Montgomery. Still overrunning the corners at times. It's definitely not perfect, but he's getting through the field one way or another. He's got a fast race truck. Definitely faster than what it was in qualifying. Truck sticks on the apron sometimes. You just can't... Like, you can hit the apron in the middle of the corner, but if you hit it too close to the entry and just chop it off, you gotta have the right angle for it to actually work. Craven just a little bit quicker than the 18 right now. Wants to get to the lead as soon as he possibly can. Rainer Martinez and Coyle, thanks for tuning in. Fastest lap for Craven in the early going of the race. Sad to hear that, Coyle, by the way. Feel your pain, man. Feel your pain. Craven closes again, despite his lap time dropping off from the lap before. Big closing rate through turns 1 and 2. He's going to get close to him, but is he going to be able to get around him? He's going to really try to widen his arc out quite a bit this time. Oh, he got the 18 into a bit of a mistake. Not enough of one to make the pass, though. Craven down low for the lead. Gets crowded by the 18. Craven down low on the back stretch, trying to side draft Chase Montgomery. Side by side, still into turn 3. Craven on the bottom. And not quite clear yet off turn 4, but Craven will lead his first lap to pick up 5 bonus points after the first 15 laps were led by Montgomery. The championship battle at the front of the field is also the battle for the race lead in the early going, and Craven is out ahead as he's clear off turn 2. This is just amazing how these two have come to play these last handful of races, really separating themselves from the rest of the field in the middle portion of the season as we get to a close, as we just have about a little over 20% of the season left remaining. Remember, the top 4 were within 46 points of each other just 5 races ago. And you can just see the separation on the points at the top of the screen that are scrolling across every so often. How far ahead the 99 and the 18 are ahead of the rest of the field. And they've been within about 40 points of each other this entire time. They're both finishing really, really well. In comparison to those 3 to 4 trucks that are still in the championship hunt as well behind them. Craven pulling away from Montgomery after getting to the lead. Took him a few laps to get around him. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Hi, Stephen King 92 Hammer. Thanks for tuning in. Caution free in the early going. It's not a race where I expect to see a lot of cautions. It'll be interesting if we get one or not. And we don't know exactly what the fuel window is, so that'll also be interesting if we see a caution, just how that is going to go about. Craven looking good, though, at the front of the field. Or maybe handling even better now that he's got the clean air. Omar, thanks for tuning in. Craven's truck is fine when he hits the curb, at least the 2 or 3 times he has hit it in the first 22 laps. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in also. Just finished watching South Park. I haven't watched South Park in a while. It's not like... It's just kind of one of those things where like I come across an episode like every so often. Oh, Montgomery had a big bounce off the curb. That was similar to what happened to Kevin Harvick in the first couple laps of the race when he was battling Craven. That curb launched the 18 up the racetrack. Lost a little bit of time on the backstretch to Craven. South Park's definitely like a hit or miss. I feel like some of their episodes go like way out there. It can be a little too much, but then there's others where they're just absolutely hilarious and it's like the best cartoon of all time. Adult cartoon. From a comedy standpoint. Already a fifth of the way home. Oh, maybe not quite. Did my math wrong there. About a sixth of the way home. Fastest lap of the race that last time by, 26.760 for Craven. Now has about a 4/10 of a second lead over Chase Montgomery. Third place starting to slowly close in as well. I think that might be Ron Hornaday again. Catching a second wind, it appears. Craven maybe starting to put just a little bit of a gap on the 18. Montgomery used his stuff up and his truck may be a little too good on the short run and not able to sustain that long run speed over the course of the run as the tires start to wear out, the air pressure starts to build up, and the truck continues to change over this first run of the race. Yeah, it should be a one-stopper. At most of the 1 mile tracks, I've noticed we can go about 100 laps on fuel, so that's what I'm expecting to have happen today. Unless we somehow make it 75 laps. then maybe we can make it without having to stop. But no caution so far. It'll be interesting to see. Definitely a long ways to go. In just a short race. One of the shortest of the season. Remember, Daytona's the season finale on this Truck Series season. I'm not good at Daytona. Not in the EA Sports games, at least. It doesn't matter what series it seems to be. I can kind of hold my own in the Busch Series from time to time. At least get consistently good finishes. I just don't win a lot. I think I've only won once. Only one ever Cup win. Most of the other finishes have been pretty bad. And in the Truck Series, I haven't won yet. And with the points battle coming into this race, 5-point difference. Both the 99 and the 18 have led. And they're running first and second. I don't think the points is going to really change much in this race. Just going to be whether or not who's going to win this between the 18 and the 99. I think green flag pit stops are definitely going to potentially dictate that as well. Craven trying to get the most laps led. That would be huge if he could do that, especially with the 18 as good as he is today. Trying to separate himself a little more. I'm just scared. I'm scared if I go into Daytona behind. But even if I'm ahead by like 20, 30 points, and we have to make sure we finish within like 4 or 5 spots of Montgomery, I don't feel confident in that at all. If he goes out there, like finishes, I don't know, 4th, and you're telling me I have to finish 8th or 9th or better at Daytona to win the championship, I just don't trust myself to do that. Expert difficulty for the season. Yeah, I always race on expert. Every now and then on NASCAR 22, I'll knock it down to champion, just depending on the track, because some of the tracks are just ungodly, like you can't compete with the AI. You're running like 2 seconds slower lap. It's ridiculous on some tracks. Got 10 people watching right now, 8 likes in the early going of the stream. Again, appreciate you guys tuning in on a Saturday night. Early going of this truck race. We'll be streaming early tomorrow, as we've been doing pretty much all off-season long on Sundays. We'll have another afternoon stream. It'll be at noon Eastern Standard Time, and it will be another Cup race on NASCAR 06. 4 races to go on the season, on our custom schedule season. We'll be racing at Chicagoland. Again, that'll be at noon Eastern Standard Time. Trying to complete the comeback and give Greg Biffle his first career NASCAR Cup Series championship on a full season Cup Series format. We're 32 races complete. We're 30 points right now. I think we're only a couple points behind Elliott Sadler for second. And we closed that gap over the last 3 races on Carl Edwards, so we'll see if we can close it even more. Got a slow truck right now in the backstretch that is trying to get onto pit road. It's the 164. Craven got to get around him. So does Chase Montgomery in the 18. But I think everybody else potentially behind them. Actually, no, never mind. They did get around pretty easily. Not just Montgomery, but it looked like Hornaday got around the lap truck pretty well. And actually closed in on the 18, maybe just a little bit. Caught him in a better spot in the middle of the corner, perhaps. Just over a 1 second lead for Craven, his largest in the early going of the race and largest for anybody in the first 38 laps. The only 2 drivers to lead were Chase Montgomery, who led the first 15 laps from the pole. And the last, what is now going to be 18 laps, have been led by Ricky Craven. Make that 23 laps. 23 laps led and counting for Craven, so he has led the most so far. We'll alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race. We're still in the early going. 2 field passes yet to get with Todd Kluver. Halfway out of gas at lap 40. So it's definitely going to be a one-stop race today. Although it's going to be a little closer to what I was originally expecting, but it's still going to be a one-stop race. I was thinking we can go closer to 100 laps, not 80, but as long as we make it past 75 laps into the run, we'll be A-OK on fuel. Oh, looked like there was trouble in turn 4. That last lap, a lot of smoke. But no caution, we stay green still. That would be one thing, is if we did get a caution right around the halfway mark in this race. That would put these guys on the edge on fuel. We had a fuel mileage race at Phoenix in which we actually won in the Cup Series. So fuel mileage races at this track in this game are not uncommon. It should be a pretty straightforward one-stop race today. But it was a weird caution in the Cup race at the edge of the pit window, which put ourselves in a pretty tight situation where we were barely able to save enough and get the win. It was a clutch win for Biffle in the second half of the season. For anybody that remembers that race. Montgomery and Hornaday starting to close that gap just a little bit more again. Still ways away from lap traffic, so a lot more clean air still to work with right now for Craven. He should catch somebody before the end of this first run. You would think. Craven picked it up again the last couple laps. Has quickly grown that lead right back out to 1 second again. Montgomery not quite battling with Hornaday yet for position. We'll go back to the far chase camp for the rest of the race now as we are nearing 100 laps to go. Highest difficulty is Legend. Yeah, my bad. I said Expert because NASCAR 22, it's Expert, Legend, same thing. Hardest difficulty. Might not have sounded like I knew what I was talking about a second ago, but it's on Legend. It's amazing how much better I'm hitting my marks now in the race versus what I was at the beginning. Just as we're getting more and more laps in. Speaking of which, we just ran another fastest lap, 26.736. Craven picking up the pace a little bit, middle of the run. Very big bounce off the curb that time for the 99. Trying to keep a low exit to the corners. Trying to take the shortest way around possible. Seems to be where I'm able to make up the most time in this game from what I've noticed. So if you can have a good handling race truck and a lot of grip, not have to let the car feed all the way up to the wall every single time, it's a huge advantage. And it seems to be an advantage I have on short tracks more than any other style of racetrack, which has led to my short track success, I think, in all 3 series. Including tonight in the early going as we're a third of the way home at the line. 50 down, 100 to go. We'll take our first field pass of the race today. We'll go to Todd Kluver in the 50. We'll see where he's running. He's in the top 10. Good start. Up to 6. Not sure exactly where he started. But 6th place right now for Kluver. Bobby Hamilton is in 5th. He's the next driver for position in front of him. Kluver just ran faster lap than even Craven has ran today of a 26.673. He hasn't really been anywhere close to getting a win this season. Only a handful of top 10s on the season. But a good run going in the early going to this race. Might have a shot to get inside the top 5 here before long. Big dive to the bottom of the racetrack as he closes on the 0-4. Got a truck blowing up on the inside of turns 1 and 2 right now. We'll go back to Ricky Craven, who still maintains a 1-second race lead with 98 laps to go, coming to 97 to go at the line. Couldn't tell who that truck was that was down on the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Just got to hope he can make it back to pit road. Truck still down on the bottom of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4 as the leaders race around him. Craven going to go way wide, giving himself plenty of room. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Needless to say, that truck will get to pit road. So again, we stay green. Oh, Jesus. Now, the curb threw me that time, but that's also because I hit it in a weird spot. Dove it in way too early in the dogleg that time. That cost the Craven quite a bit of his lead. It's down to a half second. Lost 0.6 of a second to Montgomery and Hornaday that last lap. Got to find that rhythm again. Curb kind of launched him a little bit that time, too. I think as the tires are wearing out a little bit, it probably doesn't help now that I'm hitting the curb, where at the beginning of the run it wasn't really affecting me as much as it seemed to be affecting the AI whenever they would hit it. We're just going to take our second and final field pass of the day when we get to the start-finish line this time by. We'll run a few more laps with Ty Kluver. We'll see if he has made his way back up to 5th yet or not. Nope, still in 6th. Right behind the 04. Got a run on him going into turn 3. Trying to get to the bottom. Way down on the apron. Maybe a little too aggressive there from Kluver that time. A little slower than the lap before. Deep dive now through 1 and 2. He's just desperately trying to get underneath Bobby Hamilton, and he's so close. 2 corners in a row now. Widens his arc out a little bit, getting into 3 and 4. Again, dives to the bottom in the middle of the corner. He's going to door the 0-4. A little bit of contact made. 50 of... Had a brain fart there for a second. I don't know what I was going to say. Something about the 50 truck. And it was probably going to be the fact that he made the pass for 5th on Bobby Hamilton. Bounces off the curb. Keeps it straight. First time Kluver's been inside the top 5 today. We'll go back to Craven for the rest of the race. It does seem like everybody else is pacing on fuel a lot better than Craven, who is already down to a quarter tank of gas left. That doesn't feel great. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Craven's going to have to pit once regardless. You would think that nobody else is going to be able to make it on fuel, but although I guess we don't know for sure. And we've seen fuel mileage race already at this track in this game recently, over the last couple months. First lap truck Craven's going to catch today will be the 119. Craven will make a clean pass. Hornaday might try to use the lap truck as a pick to get by Montgomery. Montgomery goes wide. As a result, he does get picked behind the 119, and Ron Hornaday is going to move into second place. That's big for Craven if, obviously, Craven still wins the race if Montgomery finishes third or worse. Would like for Hornaday not to lead a lap, just in case Ron's got any sort of a shot at the championship in the closing races. Got a little bit of catching up to do, but he's at least running good today. And all it takes is the 99 and the 18 to have one off night. Hornaday is going to be right there. On top of the fact that Hornaday obviously is going to have to keep up a good consistent stretch of races over these final 7 now after tonight's race. 4 more lap trucks coming up in the not-so-distant future for Ricky Craven. Another half-second lead again, as he was a little bit quicker than Hornaday that last lap. Montgomery was able to get by the lap truck, but obviously, again, it was after getting passed for second place. And it's going to be pretty close to the pit stop here for Ricky Craven, his only stop of the day. Could allow Montgomery to lead a lot of laps, too, if they don't have to pit for a long time yet. Although Montgomery isn't in second right now, he could take that spot away with a lot more lap trucks coming up. Oh, contact. The 123 truck going to move the 30 up the track going into turn 1. A little bump and run. Meanwhile, Craven going to lap a truck behind those two. Oh, and a big block by the 123 as he wasn't clear in the center of the dog leg on Chafin as well. Chafin getting used and abused by the 123. Goldston. Right front really starting to wear on the 99 right now. Starting to get through the lap trucks a little better than the rest of the field. Or at least of the leaders that have gotten into lap traffic so far. Allowing for Craven to pull away a little bit more. Billy Kramer, welcome into the stream. We've got some trucks pitting at lap 70. Window may be open to make it to the end of the race on fuels. We have 80 laps to go. A great corner there by Craven as he clipped the inside wall in turn 1. Ricky's still going to go as far as he could go on fuel before pitting now. Unaware the Chiefs game was moved to today. Did they win, or is it still going on? I think they started at 4:30 against the Raiders. Yeah, them and then the Jacksonville and Tennessee game is later tonight, too. Winner of that takes the AFC South. Chiefs won 31-13. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to make any adjustment changes during the first stop. I think the truck is good enough. Handling pretty well in the long run. Chase Montgomery going to pit. Hornaday still on the track yet, as well as Craven. So Montgomery going to go with a short pit, just shy of the halfway mark here. This is so that way he can hopefully try to jump back into the lead. Get some much needed track position back, but it is a big risk this late in the season with how tight the championship battle is. If a caution comes out and he gets trapped a lap down the middle of green flag stops, it could lose him the championship. if Craven doesn't have any off performances. Todd Kluver on his way into the pits from 5th. Hornaday and Craven pretty equal this late into the run. Craven's only going to be able to go a few more laps. We're going to pit at lap 78. Hornaday going to pit this time. He's also going to try to cycle out in front of the 99. Mr. Clean Crew going to have a really clean pit stop to try to keep this 99 out in front because they have the disadvantage of pitting a little bit after the 18 and the 6. The 18 pitted 1 lap before the 6. Which in return, the 18 will then eventually end up being pitted 4 laps before Craven, and Hornaday will pit 3 laps before him once Craven pits at lap 78. Just kind of hoping for a caution before that. That'd be beautiful. Still caution free tonight. So Craven will pit next time by. Got a lap truck just in front of him that'll pit. Craven never had to check up at all, though, because he was far enough behind him at least. More than enough time to make the corner at normal pace. I mean, we might be able to stretch it to 80, but I don't want to risk it. The more laps we stay out, the less of a chance we're going to cycle back into the lead here. So Craven will pit this time. Almost missed the pits. That was close. That was pretty close. 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments for Craven. And we'll see. Anybody else try to push it to lead their first laps? There goes Hornaday. So Hornaday's still in front of the 18 truck. They're back on the lead lap now. Mr. Clean Crew will go to work on the 99. Man, they have thick eyebrows. I never realized that. Look at how... Looks like they just Sharpied their eyebrows on. Like one of those, like, giant Sharpies. Look at that. They've got caterpillars on their faces. Bobby Hamilton's still out there. Craven in 4th. Hattori's in the pits now, as well as Deborah Renshaw, and Craven will be the leader. Just in front of the 6 and the 18. Thinking that Hamilton led that last lap to get 5 bonus points. I don't think Hattori or Renshaw did. Craven will be the new leader technically next time by at the line, and we'll have 70 laps to go. He's got about a 0.6 of a second lead, so even pitting a few laps after those guys, Craven is still going to be in the lead. Derek Booth, thanks for tuning in also. I'm starting to think it was maybe the nighttime skies that were making the Mr. Clean Crew's eyebrows that much darker. Maybe it was the bright lights making the whiteness of Mr. Clean shine brighter, except for his eyebrows that are like the only thing black on him. Honestly, forgot Mr. Clean had eyebrows, honestly. Would have expected him to have, like, either no eyebrows. I figured they would either be waxed, or I figured they would be, like, blonde or something, considering how shiny he is. Not like an 80-year-old grandma that draws them on before church on Sunday. We're doing them a disservice, though. They helped us win the race out of the pits, and I'm just roasting my pit crew right now. Still. Moving into lap traffic now for the first time following the first and only stop of the race. Everybody going to be able to make it on fuel. There were drivers that pitted shy of the halfway mark, but I'm thinking they short pitted knowing that they can make it to the end for an 80-lap stint. If we get a caution, be interested if drivers will decide to pit or not. And honestly, I think we have to stay out and keep the track position because that seems to matter more than anything else here at Phoenix. Because even after that full fuel run, we're pretty darn close to it. We pitted a few laps after. We only had like a 0.6 of a second lead, and we still came out with about a 0.6 of a second lead. There was really no time gained or lost. And we had a pretty good pit road entry. I know I almost missed the pits, but at the same time, that's how much we were really pushing it, trying to get in. So we were able to make up maybe quite a bit more time there, which helped even the playing field out. There was a blue truck that just blew a motor and made it into the pits, and I'm almost wondering if it was Chase Montgomery. There are some fantasy trucks that are blue. And non-fantasy trucks, too. I have a feeling Chase Montgomery might have just blown an engine. He was in third, led laps, qualified on the pole. I need to see who that is. I can't tell. I don't think it is. I think it's a fantasy driver. Was it the 117? Because the 117 is shown on our screen right now. I don't know. I think he's got a blue car. Yeah, I can't tell who that is. I don't think it's Hattori. He's kind of got like a lighter blue / like silver or chrome car. It's pretty much an all blue truck that is on pit road, or close to it at least. It's either Chase Montgomery or it's a fantasy driver. And if it's Chase Montgomery, that may have just costed him a championship. And may have very well won the championship for Ricky Craven. Especially if Craven gets a max points day. He's going to have almost a one-race lead. He's going to go from nearly, assuming Montgomery would have finished top 3, which he cycled out of the pits in third, ran top 3 the whole race again, qualified on the pole, led the first 15 laps. So he would have 5 bonus points. Even if Craven had a max points day, he'd lose maybe 20 points. He'd be about 20 to 25 points out of first, finishing second or third in today's race, and instead is going to be pretty darn close to a full race worth of points out, and could allow Ron Hornaday to close in as well. Not to take over second because he's too far back to be able to do so, but considering Hornaday is in second, it'll be interesting. Hornaday has not led any laps. Don't think it's Chase Montgomery, but we'll see after the race. Yeah, I don't think it is either. It looks... I'm colorblind, so I don't know how accurate this is going to be of a statement, but I feel like the shade of blue of the truck that's on pit road right now is not the same shade of blue that Chase Montgomery has. I feel like that blue that we see on pit road is a little bit darker, but I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he did blow an engine. I mean, you'd hate to see it, but at the same time, I'd like to see him win a championship for Ricky Craven here in the Truck Series, too. You are very right, Billy. Mr. Clinker definitely looks better bald than the crew chief on NASCAR 21. Craven has really started to dominate this race after qualifying 7th today. He still got to the lead on lap 16. He's led all but 1 lap since. The only lap he didn't lead was when Bobby Hamilton led 1 lap during green flag pit stops. So Craven has already clinched the most laps led, leading that last lap at the line. Still have another 57 laps to go in this race at the line. It's still caution-free, but also largest lead now for Ricky Craven. Not including the green flag pit stops, it's a 2.2 second lead off turn 2. So he is definitely pulling away. He's getting through the lap traffic a lot better than everybody else. And this is looking like Ricky Craven's race to lose today. Great adjustment change from qualifying to the race. The truck was just a little too tight. That's why he didn't really have a great shot at the pole, despite having at least a fast enough truck to get inside the top 10. Did have a great opening lap of the race. Got crowded into turn 1 on entry. Lost about 4 spots. Fell back to 11th. But quickly started to pass trucks. Almost a truck per lap, really. Made an epic 3-wide move to get to 3rd. And wasted no time once he got to Montgomery of getting underneath him and taking the lead. Although he hasn't had a gigantic lead in this race, and this is as big as it's gotten, it's felt fairly comfortable at the same time. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Just looked it up. Chase Montgomery doesn't even have a top 10 in trucks. Are you talking like on Racing Reference, like in his career he doesn't? That's interesting. I actually never really bothered to look at it. I know Ricky Craven won some races in 2005 in the Truck Series. If I'm not mistaken, he might have won this race at Phoenix. Obviously, he's not in the same spot of our schedule, but I know he did win a couple races, though. Didn't win the championship. I'm not sure where he finished in points. Somebody wants to try to look on Racing Reference before the end of the stream, I'd appreciate it. That's insane. How many races did he run? He couldn't have ran many races because, I mean, he's in the 18 truck, which is a really good truck in this game. I think that's a Bobby Hamilton racing truck. $50 laps to go next time by. It will be 100 laps complete tonight at Phoenix on this 1 mile short track, flat track. You mean Reum in the top 10? Like Josh Reum? Look, the apron went way up the racetrack, crowded the 107, and now the 107's in the wall pretty hard off of turn 4 after contact from the 99. Whoops. We stayed green, though, so that's good. Still 2.7 second lead. It really didn't cost us as much as it costed that guy. Jackson Thomas, welcome back. Got a Dale Sr. 2001 Daytona 500 with Sonic. .124 scale too. Yeah, I don't know if I'm really wanting another Dale Earnhardt diecast, whether it's junior or senior. I have a lot of them. Oops. A little more contact there at the 86 from Craven. We'll hold clear off turn 4 still. Still in 2.7 second lead. Second lap truck he's made contact with over the last few laps. Jeez. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in. Did he actually drive the 18 then? I'm starting to believe he didn't. I mean, you would think that he would have had to because in the game he's in the 18. He ran 25 races but didn't have a single top 10. Is that what you guys are telling me? I need to look this up after the race is over. Yeah, he's second in points and has 2 wins on our season. I do have a Dale Jr. 2001 diecast. I think I have his EA Sports 500 win car from 2001. Talladega. I think he won the Winston Million that day too, because the numbers on the top of the car is gold. I think the spoiler is too. Maybe not gold, it's a different color though. And he drove the 18. That's pitiful. That's a good race truck to not have a top 10 in 25 races. NASCAR bust Chase Montgomery. I know he never panned out in Cup. Didn't really have his fair shake in it either, but at the same time, man, if he can't perform in the trucks... I mean, you want to talk about Haley Deegan not performing in the truck series. At least she has a few top 10s. Chase Montgomery, one of the best truck teams in 2005, didn't have a single top 10. That's insane. I mean, that was a more competitive time in the truck series, I will say, because he had guys like Hornaday, Bodine. I can't remember if Johnny Benson was running full-time at that point in time or not. You know, even Bill Lester was competent. I don't know if Eric Darnell was in there. Well, Ricky Craven in 05 was winning races, so... I mean, they had a pretty good truck field. Mike Skinner might have ran some races then. But even still, I mean, to not have a single top 10. Like, I listed a bunch of great names that were probably winning a bunch of races. I'm not saying he had to go out and win a race. At least got to be consistent in the equipment. Got to get top 10s. Chase only had one top 10 in his racing career. Probably in the Busch Series. I'm assuming NASCAR career, right? Because, I mean, it probably doesn't record, like, any, like, local, like, late model races if he ever did that or something. Local modified races. Like, he had to have done something, you would think, to get into NASCAR in a top series. Yeah, that's true. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch were there. But yeah, but not to have a single top 10. That's what doesn't make any sense. Like, we've listed a handful of guys, but there's still like 3 or 4 spots available for other drivers to get top 10s at least every race. And in 25, he had 0. 2003, the Busch Series, he had a top 10. Yeah, I didn't realize how bad Chase Montgomery was. Johnny Benson was full-time truck son. Yeah, because I know he won his championship just a couple years after that. Game good only. Yeah, well, he's competing for a championship this season in the Truck Series on NASCAR 05. I remember the NASCAR Thunder 2004 day seeing Chase Montgomery at the back of the field in the Cup Series. Running part-time, too. Who would have thought he'd be competing for a championship just 2 years later in our Truck Series on the classic EA games. Said that a video game gets the most out of his equipment, but he can't. Oh, jeez. Fast lap was a 26.633. Sweet, I didn't even recognize it. Halfway on fuel right now at this point in the run. No big deal. About 33 laps to go. Definitely going to have enough to make it to the end. Just got to hope it continues to stay green. It's been a caution-free race. I mentioned at the beginning of the race, I didn't think it was going to be a race where we're going to see a lot of cautions. I figured we'd get maybe 1 or 2. We haven't even had that, at least to this point. We know the saying, as Larry McReynolds likes to say a lot, cautions breed cautions. And we'll see if that will be, as also Larry Mack says, the trends in tonight's race. But the first half a couple, you have to have at least one. So far, so good. These guys have kept it fairly clean. We've seen some beating and banging. A lot of the lap trucks I've noticed have used some bump and runs on each other. In fact, the 2 trucks in front of us a couple laps ago, I saw them make contact. Heart rate got moved to the outside lane, held on for a lap and a half, and then finally got cleared. And now it's Craven trying to close in on him with 30 to go. No, we'll be good on fuel. 33, we pitted. That means we would have had to have gone only 33 to make it to the end. Or to not make it to the end, which means we would have pitted with 66 laps to go. We pitted with 73 laps left. So we're definitely good on fuel to the end. We're about 6 or 7 laps to the good. And that's even by calculations of how much we've used in the first half of the run. So we are plenty good on fuel. If we have one green-white checkered, we'll be good. So not worried about it. Definitely going to stay out of the pits if we get a caution. It's going to stink if everybody else pits, though, and takes fresher tires. But we have to stay out and keep track position. I think that's going to be better for us because you just don't know if everybody will pit or not. Another 26.6. Craven gets by the 82 and the 92. Clausen and Harvick. And even the second run of the race has been a lot smoother than the first for Craven. I think that's another reason why he is growing that lead out way more than what he ever did in the first run. I don't think he had more than a 1.2 second lead the entire first 78 laps before he pitted. But in the just less than 50 laps since, he's already over 3.5 seconds ahead of second. Now, some of that could be Chase Montgomery's out of the race. Montgomery had a really good short run truck before. Was able to hold on for the first half of the run. Now, again, that's just speculation. He could be out. We're not entirely sure. But there is a blue truck that blew an engine just after the halfway mark today. And if it is Montgomery, he's going to end up finishing at 34th as a result. Craven just overran turn 1. That was not good. Oh, no. Don't bring out a caution there. Jeez. 82 got into the wall off the exit of turn 2. He's still against it in the center of the backstretch. Overran the corner right into the inside wall, and then when I come back down the middle of the corner, I didn't realize he was underneath me, and I almost spun him out. 25 laps left, 2.4 second lead still, and was 3.6. That stinks. We didn't get a caution, though. That's good. At least there's more clean air in front of the 99 now, so that's good. Not all the way to the end. They'll catch more lap trucks eventually, but it's clean for the instant. Again, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. We're down to just over 20 laps to go tonight at Phoenix. In a race that has been dominated by Ricky Craven. And his championship counterpart, Chase Montgomery, may be out. If not, he has been top 3 all day. Maybe he got back by Hornaday for second if he is still in the race. It is certainly possible. He was very good on the short run earlier. But he did cycle out of the pits during the green flag stops just behind him as he came in. wanting to go this time by. And again, also tomorrow on the channel, NASCAR 06 Cup Series at Chicagoland. 4 races left on our custom schedule season for the Cup Series. We'll be having one every week leading up to the start of the NASCAR season for the Busch Clash. That's how intense that's going to be. Got a 1.5 miles, followed by 2 fantasy road courses. Well, fantasy street course, then a fantasy road course, and then Talladega for the season finale. It's definitely going to be a wild finish to the season. Got arguably the best 1.5 miles with a couple of unknown races to follow in the final 3, really. There's quite a few lap trucks that are starting to stack up. A little bit further up ahead. 4 trucks in a group, just hoping they keep it clean. That's all I hope for. At least Craven's far enough back to avoid the accident. The problem is the field would get stacked back up again. It's a 3-second lead. Once again for Craven, really starting to throw that out again. If we get a caution with 5 or less laps left in the race, too, it could end it, so. Yeah, they're definitely running out of time to get a quick yellow. Laps do not take long at this track. Oscar Ramirez Herrero, thanks for tuning in. Doesn't need to be too aggressive this time to pass any lap trucks. He can take his time. I think Brandon Witt might be the next truck in front of him. Yes, it is. I think Terry Cook is the next truck in front of him as well. 15 to go. Keep digging. And 4 truck packs starting to slowly separate from each other, so that's good for us to see. And we've got about 3.6 seconds. I think that's tied for the largest lead of the race for Craven. Really growing it out here in these closing laps. Saw some sparks flying up there. That scared me a little bit. I think it was the truck bottoming out or somebody well further in front of him that made contact. Quarter tank of gas left, but only 13 to go. Again, we're plenty good to make it to the end. 6 to 7 laps to the good. I know, 1 month from the Clash. I'm excited. NASCAR is almost back, baby. I think the Rolex 24 is in a couple weeks too, correct? 2 weeks? I plan on doing a special stream that weekend. In tribute to the race. A little hint. That's all I'll say about it, though, for right now. More on that in the coming weeks. As we get closer to that race weekend at Daytona. Craven. Not quite clear of Witt. He's going to give him plenty of room off turn 4 as he's still on the outside. A 4-second race lead now with 11 to go. Going to Florida for a week. Well, congrats. Chili Bowl next week. Yeah, I mean, we're getting into the start of racing season. I think think the World of Outlaws usually start their season like early February too. I think it's the week before Daytona usually, because they race Volusia County, which is not that far from Daytona. I think it's only like a half hour away from Daytona. The Dirt Nationals. 9 to go. Lap times have dropped, but not significant enough for anybody to catch under green flag conditions. Raven pulling away, looking for win number 8 on the season. And to expand the points lead with a max points day in the 18th race out of 25 on the calendar. Had 3 drivers blowing engines so far today. Both right side tires on the yellow on the tire wear indicator right now for Craven. Craven backed off quite a bit getting into turn 1. He gave Cook a lot of room, but kind of crowded him going in. Didn't want to make any sort of contact and risk causing an accident. Now he gets underneath him by the exit of turn 2. Will not get crowded into 3 and 4 and a lap Terry Cook. He was a one-time winner of this Truck Series season very early in the year. He's not in the top 10 in points, though. He was at the time of him winning, but not anymore. And a clean pass in turns 1 and 2 in the 119 as well. Side by side, right in front of Craven with the 110 and the 105, I believe is the number. Craven down low. Both staying to the outside. Giving the race leader some room. 5 laps to go for Ricky Craven at Phoenix. About 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. Again, good to the end, no problem. It is not a fuel mileage race today at Phoenix. I mean, caution comes out now, the race will probably end anyway, so. It wouldn't hurt the 99 unless he's involved. There's only one more truck in front of him, too. And that truck's all by himself. Craven probably won't even catch him if it stays green. No cautions on the final lap as well. As we know with these EA Sports games. 3 to go. 3 more miles for Craven. 5-second lead nearly. I think this is only going to be the second caution-free truck race of the season, despite the short lap counts in these races. This one very straightforward. And it will be a caution-free race because the white flag is in the air now. 1 lap to go for Craven. 5.1 second lead. '64 truck is the next one in front of him. I think he's already a lap down. Craven in no hurry to pass him. No need to either. I'll just sit behind him in 3 and 4. I don't think he really had a shot to pass him anyway. That the dirty air truck was a little tighter. Checkered flag in the air, and it'll be a Ford winning the Chevy Silverado 150 at Phoenix. Craven gets win number 8. 8 for 18. Impressive season so far. And he will add on to the points lead. Whether Chase Montgomery DNF'd or not. Can't even see where I'm at on the front stretch. So much smoke. We will take a look at the finishing results. Guys, I think we're going to have a massive points lead. I don't see Chase Montgomery in the top 10. I think he was the truck that blew an engine earlier. It was almost too good to be true because I didn't believe it at first because I didn't actually see him blow a motor, but I saw him in the pits. And it looked like his truck. It was. He finished 34th. He was the last truck that DNF'd on lap 84 after leading 15 laps from the pole early in the race. And ran top 3 all up until lap 84 when he ended up blowing a motor. That's unbelievable. Davis, Vincent, Montgomery, the only drivers that DNF. 3 of them. This is going to give a massive points lead now to Ricky Craven with a max points day of leading 134 of the 150 laps with the win. It says we had 7 lead changes. That's not the case. We would have had 1 when I took the lead from Montgomery. 2 with the green flag pit stops because Bobby Hamilton led 1 lap, as you see there, finished in 3rd. And then we took the lead again. So we only had 3 lead changes today. So 3 lead changes, no cautions, 1 hour, 7 minutes total time of the race. Very quick one without any yellows. 5.4 second margin of victory. 132.48 miles per hour was the average race speed. Unbelievable. Yeah, we're going to check out that point standings. It is not going to be 5 points anymore like it was coming into the race. That's almost kind of sad to see because that's how good the 99 and the 18 have been over these last 5-6 races, just pulling away from the field together, but now it's just Craven all by himself. Hornaday does finish 2nd, so he's going to close in on the 2nd place driver points now, Montgomery, and he will be sitting in 3rd all alone as well. Bobby Hamilton is going to finish 3rd, behind Hornaday, who finished P2. Again, 1 lap left for Hamilton. Bill Lester, great day, finished 4th, ran top 5 most of the day. Parker ends up 5th. Our teammate Todd Kluver had one of his better runs this year. Qualified 12th, finished in 6th, was top 5 at one point, middle of the race. Deborah Renshaw ends up finishing in 7th. Good run for her. Marvin Sheth finishes 8th. Shigeki Hattori 9th. John Hamilton rounds out the top 10. And we had a total of 15 drivers finish on the lead lap today. And again, 3 DNFs. So we'll check out the points lead before we end the stream. Lead changing before the start-finish line. I mean, it's technically not a lead change unless you lead a lap, so, I mean, maybe in the game it scores it that way, but I don't think it does, though, at the same time. It shouldn't. Next race is at Kansas. That's a fun 1.5 miles. O'Reilly Auto Parts 250. That'll be, I believe, next week or the week after on the channel for the Truck Series. Yeah, we're going to definitely have over a 100-point lead right now. He did get a lap, like I mentioned, laps led, but 5 bonus points when he finished 34th. Softens the blow very little. Again, he's still 2nd in points because he was over 1 race worth ahead of 3rd himself, as he was only 5 points behind Craven. Craven has a 129-point lead over Chase Montgomery now, almost a full race worth of points ahead all of a sudden after coming in just 5 ahead. A huge catastrophe, really, for Chase Montgomery on the season. I mean, he lost, in this one race alone, he lost 124 points to Craven. That is, you feel bad for the guy, really, having a career year. Ron Hornaday, 3rd in points, 253 back. He didn't lose many, but he did move into 3rd. Hattori fell back 1 spot. He is now 4th. Bobby Hamilton is 5th. He ends up with a top 5. Lester top 5 as well. Hattori really nowhere to be found. He was well outside the top 10 pretty much all day. And Kluver's up to 11th in points. Hopefully he can get inside the top 10. I think reasonably he could probably get to 9th if he goes on a hot streak here to the end of the year. So that's going to end today's stream. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll be racing NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. Cup Series, custom schedule season, 4 races to go. 4 actually. I forgot Jeff Gordon's in it now. 4 driver battle for the championship. It is a tight one. All 4 within 1 race worth of points right now. You got rookie Carl Edwards. You have underdog Elliott Sadler. You have the Biff, who hasn't won a championship in his career, and Jeff Gordon trying to go for his 5th title. It should be a lot of fun at Chicagoland tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you then.